My prediction for the TNA World Championship between Samoa Joe and champion AJ Styles, I got to say, putting aside my friendship with Samoa Joe, my respect for him, I got to go with AJ Styles here. I think momentum is in the corner of the champion, and so's the Nature Boy.
If I had to make a prediction, I would say excitement. I mean, these guys have traded victories. They know each other so well. They're kind of on other sides of the same fence now. Joe is a guy who's being cheered for the first time in a while. AJ being booed for the first time in a while. And I actually think the cheers for Joe and the boos for AJ will both bring out the best in them.
Well, you know, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. So if anybody knows about odds, it's probably me. Factor in 12 years running a sports book in Las Vegas, Nevada. And when I make the odds for AJ Styles and Samoa Joe at against all odds, I call it pick'em. I can't make either guy the favorite, and that's what's going to make this match so intriguing.
Well, you know what? To me, it doesn't matter who wins, whether it's Samoa Joe or AJ Styles. I consider both of them threats. You know, AJ has had quite a year. He's had a stellar year. I would consider him the top wrestler in the world right now. But Samoa Joe is looking for that respect now. He's been in the shadows for the past year. He's been behind me in the Main Event Mafia. He's been doing his own Nation of Violence. He hasn't really come together until now. So it is Joe's time. My prediction is I think that Joe's going to end up beating AJ. And I think it's going to be a very, very tight match.
If you're asking me to make a prediction in the match between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, I won't do it. Number one, I only make predictions on things I absolutely know for sure, and too many things are changing too fast at this point for me to make a prediction like that. Samoa Joe, if he keeps turning up the fire, keeps turning up the intensity, he could have a good night. AJ Styles, you know, this is a new course for him. It's a change of life for him. How is he going to adjust to being the Ric Flair protege? How is he going to adjust to the lifestyle changes that come along with that? A lot of those things may not seem like a big deal to people who aren't in the professional wrestling business, but Ric Flair's lifestyle can become a distraction at a certain point. And if that lifestyle and being the Ric Flair protege becomes too much of a distraction for AJ Styles at the same time that Samoa Joe is probably feeling some of the most intense heat he's felt in a long time, it could be a real bad night for AJ Styles.
Samoa Joe or AJ Styles? That's a tough one. Here you got two well-seasoned veterans in this sport. They both have completely different styles. But being myself, I prefer the smash mouth, kick your teeth down your frickin' throat type of offense that Samoa Joe delivers. So I'm going to go with Joe.
That's going to be a great matchup between Joe and AJ. Between Joe's intensity and AJ's athleticism, it's a toss-up, but I got to go with AJ.
Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, main event at Against All Odds. Who's coming out on top? To be quite honest with you, Pope could care less which one of those guys win, because Pope's gunning for the winner of that match. Sure, it's going to be a 5-star classic. Sure, it's going to be a match for the ages, and I'm quite sure that the fans are going to be raving about the matchup between the two. But when it's all said and done, Pope will be standing across the ring at whoever is wearing his biggest bling. You understand what I'm saying?
In the end, I believe Samoa Joe is victorious and becomes the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Hands down, AJ Styles. No problem.
And why?
And why? Because I'm going to be there to make sure it happens. I'll tell him all night long he's the best in the business, and he'll rise to that occasion, he'll excel, and he'll beat Samoa Joe. He's that good.
My prediction, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the heavyweight title. Ooh. I've just been talking about how good AJ is at adapting on the fly, and how good Joe is when he gets pushed and cornered into pushed into a corner. He comes out like a rabid Wolverine. He just comes out clawing and scratching and biting, doing whatever he's got to do to win. With that, I'm going to say Samoa Joe. And the only reason for that is he knows AJ. I said earlier how AJ is very good at adapting against his opponents. No matter how big, short, fat, tall, skinny, it doesn't matter. He's good at flipping the script and doing what he does best to counteract whoever his opponent is. Samoa Joe knows all this. That used to be his best friend. So if anybody knows AJ's game, and AJ's adaptation in the middle of the ring, it would be Joe. And because Joe has that 6th and 7th gear that a lot of opponents I face do not have, that's going to win the heavyweight title. It will.
Prediction for AJ and Joe. I couldn't tell you. It's probably going to be the guy who loses is going to be the one to make the most crucial mistake. One of them, they've been wrestling each other for so damn long. These guys know each other inside and out. They know how to counter each other's finishing moves, counter each other's submissions. Joe's power and size against AJ's speed and quickness. They complement each other so well in the ring. They always say, it's styles that make a match. These guys have totally opposite styles, but so much of the same because they know each other so well. All I know is it's going to be great for TNA, whichever one of these guys does hold the World Heavyweight Championship.
You got to go with AJ. Ric Flair's the X Factor, and nothing replaces wisdom. Nothing. And I've learned that over the last 4 or 5 years. Nothing replaces wisdom, so you got to go with AJ.
Joe versus AJ. It's hard to pick favorites with those guys. The matches they have all been brutal and great matches. But with Rick in his corner, I think AJ would have the edge.
You know what? It doesn't really make a difference whether it's AJ Styles or whether it's Samoa Joe. Both of them TNA great wrestlers. I'm looking forward to fight either one of them. So whoever's world champion, I'm looking forward to getting in the ring. I'm looking forward to have one of the greatest matches in TNA history, entertain, and do what I do best, and that is be simply the greatest.
AJ Joe, for the World Heavyweight title, it's going to be a battle. These guys have had some epic matches in the past, and I'm sure that this one will be no different. If I have to pick a winner, I'm going to have to go with AJ.